Hey guys, I got a special treat for you today. I'm hanging here with my friend Gaurav. We call him G. He's a huge artist in India and also writes software. He's got a plugin coming out. What's the name of the plugin again?
It's called the Slam Dog.
Slam Dog. And I'm about to check it out, so I'll keep you posted on that. He's brought some tracks. He puts together... nobody outsells you in terms of percussion tracks and loops from India, right?
Yeah, we've been fortunate to get our libraries out there, and people have responded well. Yeah, they sell good.
I heard a rumor that you've sold like many millions of records, right?
Well, early in my career when records used to sell, yeah, we did actually for the
cool.
first project. Yeah.
So, guys, I met G at NAMM and was just really taken aback by his love of music and his enthusiasm. I'm sitting there thinking, man, you know, music is the coolest thing because there's no boundaries, there's no culture, there's no countries. Music is music, and I realized I didn't know a lot about the music that he makes, and I wanted to learn a little more. So today we're gonna do the first part of two-part episodes and break down a couple of things. I thought that I had a little bit of skills in this world, but you write code, you make beats, I had to write down so many things. You're also widely known as an educator, and I guess that's probably the foundation on which we started our relationship. And then you played me a song, Ethnic Funk, which I just fell in love with. What a great song.
Thanks.
So, what did you bring us today?
I brought something special. I wanted to bring an Indian percussion ensemble.
Oh, cool.
And I also wanted to have a twist because we're so used to 4/4 rhythms that we sometimes forget that there's a lot of other, rhythmic timings out there.
Okay.
And Indian music specifically, the Indian classical music and the real core of the original Indian music has a lot of time signatures. So I brought something which is in 7/8.
Okay.
And there is a name for, like most signatures. This one is called a Rupak Tal.
Oh.
Yeah. So
I already forgot it.
It's fine.
So it's a bar. It's a bar with 4 beats, and then
three.
a bar 3, then a 4, and then 3.
Exactly.
Let me ask you something. When I hear music from India, I hear notes that seem to be outside of the regular 12-note scale that we use. Do you have more notes, or are you just how is that? What's going on there?
Well, we have a similar tuning like the West. To be honest with you, we do have intermediate notes or means, as we call them. They're basically meaned.
Spell that.
MEEND.
Oh, okay.
Never spelled it in English before, but so it's kind of like a slide or intermediate kind of transition to go from one definite pitch to the other.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
In some of the music from Spain, we have a little bit of that too. I don't know what they call it. We got a little bit of the Arabic, North African influences in our music. So
right.
My ear is a little accustomed to that, but it's very, very cool. And there's so many different regions in India that I'm sure there's different types of music, and every just like America, we've got a million kinds of different musics and beats. But do most people use a 4/4 basic kind of? Is it always a
4/4? I guess probably now in modern music, I think we've all got so accustomed to listening to 4/4 because India is also very influenced by the West now, and also because popular music is, I think it's easier for people to listen to 4/4 without thinking too much. Yet the original classical music and some of the classical based albums, they explore a lot of time signatures. So 4/4 is just...
Now, when you say classical,
Yeah.
is that the same as saying our folk music and our ethnic music? Are you saying like European classical where you've got
Mozart and like all that? Yes, similar to that. I mean,
okay.
I guess because even our music goes back, centuries and
But it's
centuries.
orchestral in form.
In form, yes.
Okay.
Because we have our own family of instruments, instruments which have pitch, and percussion which also has pitch. So it works like that, and works in groups and sections, just like orchestral. And in fact, just like the European original classical music, there's a lot of exploration of scales and timings.
Would you say that a difference between the music from India and the music from America, our percussion tends to not have pitch. I mean, everything has pitch,
Right.
but we don't actually tune our.
Percussion.
We
yeah.
tune it, but we don't. We're not really tuning it.
Right.
But you actually do.
Oh yeah, we have to because especially with the tablas and the dholak and dhol, all these instruments, the high end sound of that always is emitting a very prominent harmonic. You can hear the pitch.
Okay.
So the minute you hear one part which is out of tune or is not in key, the ear will automatically.
Did you bring us one?
Yeah, all of this is in key to each other. It's relevant.
Can you show us something?
Yeah, sure. Let me play you the entire ensemble
Okay.
playing together. Then I'll talk about the instruments.
Okay.
So here's a small pattern from this entire.
Yeah, that thing that sounds real high pitched. You can hear the note on that really well.
Yeah.
What's the low note?
The low note basically that we sometimes do not tune because all these percussion come with like a larger drum, which has got the low pitch, and usually because that's so low, you can't really make out the pitch. So we do tune it, but it's people don't like need
Can
to
I
be
hear
accurate.
it?
Yeah,
Can you
sure.
show it?
This is the dholak, and although this is a mixed ensemble, but you can hear the it has a pitch.
That's one instrument.
It's one instrument, but this is two players that we mic'd playing it together, like two of the same instrument. It's like an ensemble.
That's
yeah.
the same instrument.
Yeah. It's got a low end part and it's got a high end part.
That's crazy.
It's one drum. Yeah.
So what would be the equivalent of what I'm hearing that remind me of like congas or bongos?
Well,
What
you're
is
right.
that?
Actually, it is just like that. Congas and bongos also have pitch, and you got to tune them, and they have a low part and a high part sometimes. But you have like two or three drums.
So how did you EQ that instrument that has so many sounds? What's
Yeah.
it called again?
It's a dholak.
Say it slow.
It's a dholak.
Tulak?
Dholak.
Dulak.
Dholak. Yeah.
Dulak.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta have the hand. Dulak.
Yeah.
Okay. Dulak.
You're close. So
I'm not being funny. Say it
no,
slow.
it's dholak.
Dulak.
Yes.
Okay.
So with the dholak, in this particular case, I did not EQ it too much because what I did is that I recorded with two microphones. We had the C414 and the C212, and since they both can capture pretty much the low end and the high end, we placed it between two players who are facing each other. So each have got their instrument playing the same pattern, and we place the mic slightly outside, trying not to really get an on-axis sound, trying to really get more of a room and an outside sound, because this particular instrument is also being mixed with the tabla, which we're miking very directly.
Okay. Do you have anything on that on the dulak?
Yeah, I have. On this one, I sometimes use a low-cut filter, but in this case, I have not really used one.
Okay.
Then we have the tabla, which is
Oh.
playing along with the dholak.
Finally, something I recognize. What's on that?
Yeah, so we've got an REQ. I'm kind of.
Ooh, you went crazy on that. You're like a.
I play with the tools. I'm not a minimalist, really.
No.
So I try to bring out the harmonics, like you can see around 4 or 5K around here. 3K.
Okay.
Then I bring in a lot of air. I'll just solo this part to show you the before and after.
Okay, please.
So this is how it was tracked. To be honest, again, I'm crazy about compression, and sometimes I like to hear sounds defined so that I don't have to do a lot later. So in this case, we used a distressor along with
When you were recording.
when we were recording. So I went a little heavy on the compression, but then I got the sound that I wanted. But now mixing it with the dholak, obviously both are in a similar kind of frequency range. So what I did is I wanted to pull up the sharpness and the brightness of the tablas.
Okay.
And then
Oh, I gotcha.
trying to bring a little bit of
Yeah, you can really hear that 3K.
yeah. So just bring in some air and pulling it.
Is that 10 dB at 14K? You went a little nuts on that one, didn't you?
I did. It's air, invisible. It also because, like I said, there's a bit of masking probably that sometimes happens when maybe not in solo. I would not probably do it in a solo mode. But when you play all the other instruments together,
How many instruments? We're hearing 9 instruments.
we've got we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 playing together,
Okay.
and then we have different parts at this place.
Okay. Play me the part where they're all playing.
Yeah, this is the one.
Oh, what's this?
Yeah, that's a duff.
A duff.
Yeah, that's an instrument called a duff. The duff is basically like a large frame drum, and we can just solo it and listen
Yeah,
to the
let's-
sound.
let's
if you'd
check
like to
that
listen to it. I'll also switch off the plugin.
Sounds like a big floor tom
It does, actually.
with a tight head.
Yeah.
What have you got on that?
Yeah, I had a C4 on that, pretty much because actually all of these instruments have a lot of low end coming through. All of them have that low drum.
Okay.
So in this case, to make this one fit in, I used the C4 to kind of multi-band the low
Okay.
frequencies
Let's hear
to
what-
clean it up a bit, so that the rest can breathe. The low end can.
Let's hear it without it. Ooh, that's ugly.
Yeah. It's got a lot of mud in there.
So, would this percussion part that you're playing would this be considered somewhat typical of what form of music?
This would be, I think, Indian classical music, more influenced from the northern region of India, because India is diverse, and Indian music is also, even the instruments and the styles and patterns are pretty diverse.
And in terms of the equivalent in American music, what would you say this would be most like?
It's very difficult to compare,
I know.
but I think probably
I'll give you a hint. South Florida, Cuban music.
Cuban music.
It's a lot like a lot of
Latin.
stuff
Yeah.
from Florida south, on into the Caribbean and Brazil, and
Right.
it has a lot. Don't you think, Leandro? It has a lot of relationships with.
Yeah, you have a lot of
With what-
time signatures too. There's a lot of
Yeah.
polyrhythms.
I guess that's why I hear that and I just really like it. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're gonna end this episode today. We'll call this part 1, and you'll help me out with part 2, right? I want a little bit more learn. We'll get a little deeper on part 2. Okay?
Right here with you, Dave.
Hey guys, as always, I want you to do your homework, do a little research. We've kind of touched on some things, and I want you to hear this because I thought it was amazing, and just the sounds and the fact that I'm looking at a screen and hearing those sounds, but I'm seeing a C4 and I'm seeing another waves that you can play. It's just kind of bizarre to me, and I'm not meaning that in a disrespectful way. It's just so cool that we have this common foundation and bond between us. If we do music, I feel like I've known you forever. You feel like you've known me forever, and it's just great seeing all that Waves plugins on the screen. But I'm hearing things that sound a little different to me. So check it out, and we're going to go a little deeper next into the Lair. Thanks, guys.